From Washington, this is VOA News. Coming up, no deal in Nigeria with Boko Haram. Latest on the deadly mine blast and fire in Turkey. Hello everyone, I'm Steve Norman. Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan has rejected freeing Boko Haram prisoners in exchange for the release of more than 200 schoolgirls kidnapped by the Islamist group a month ago in northern Nigeria. Earlier, villagers in Nigeria's Borno province, where the girls were kidnapped, reportedly fought off an attack by suspected Boko Haram militants. Nigeria's Daily Trust newspaper quotes a state legislator as saying about 200 militants were killed and several captured. Vigilante groups have formed across northern Nigeria to combat Boko Haram. They say the Nigerian military has not done enough to protect the people. On Wednesday, the U.S. military said it is using drones in addition to manned aircraft to help an international search for the girls. And Britain's top government official on Africa has reiterated support for Nigerian efforts to secure release of the girls. Mark Simmons spoke to reporters after meeting with President Goodluck Jonathan on Wednesday.
The United Kingdom will offer four things. We'll offer the Sentinel aircraft, which is the surveillance aircraft to help find the girls, which is compatible with some of the other assets that have been deployed from other international partners. We will offer a small team to be embedded in the Nigerian military headquarters to help build capacity. We will again provide a small team to work in a unit to analyse the information and intelligence coming from the northern part of Nigeria. And we will also increase our resource allocation to the Safer Schools Fund to help provide protection and security to encourage and enable more girls to go to school in northern Nigeria.
Mark Simmons, Undersecretary of State at the UK Foreign and Commonwealth Office. Ukraine launched talks Wednesday on national unity without the participation of pro-Russian separatists who are seeking autonomy from Kiev and the country's east and southeast. In opening remarks, Interim President Alexander Turchinov said his government is ready for dialogue, but he also insisted that Kiev will not hold talks with the pro-Russian gunmen who seized buildings and killed government troops near the Russian border. Rescuers in western Turkey are searching for survivors after an electrical explosion and fire at a coal mine killed at least 274 people. Mining company says 450 miners have been rescued, while government officials say another 120 are believed still inside the mine. Dorian Jones reports.
In the southwestern town of Somma, relatives and friends are continuing to wait for news outside the disaster-stricken mine. But hope is fading for the up to 200 trapped miners. At the mine, Turkish Energy Minister Taner Yildiz says rescue efforts are being hampered by high levels of carbon monoxide, which has caused those efforts to be repeatedly suspended. Oxygen is continuing to be pumped into the mine, which is more than a kilometer deep. Most of the deaths are believed to be being caused by suffocation. One miner involved in the rescue efforts says there is little hope of finding any more survivors. Relatives have voiced anger over the lack of information. Dorian Jones of VOA News, Istanbul, Turkey.
Tensions remaining high in southern Vietnam after thousands of people rampaged through foreign-owned factory protests to a Chinese oil rig in waters in the South China Sea. In southern Bindong province, thousands of workers walked off the jobs late Tuesday and took part in mass anti-China rallies. Later, mobs torched and looted more than a dozen factories, including some owned by Korean and Taiwanese firms. China has issued a travel advisory for its citizens in Vietnam, and a spokeswoman this week said Beijing is closely watching the situation. Beijing last month moved a state-run oil rig to an area in the South China Sea within what Vietnam considers its exclusive economic zone. Chinese and Vietnamese ships have since clashed and sprayed water cannon at each other, raising fears of an all-out military clash. South African judge ordered runner Oscar Pistorius to undergo psychiatric tests, bringing to a stop his trial on charges he murdered his girlfriend at his home last year. Wednesday's ruling follows testimony this week from a defense witness who said Pistorius had anxiety disorder that causes fear and worry. The judge says the tests are to make sure Pistorius gets a fair trial and that he may be evaluated on an outpatient basis. Get more news at our website, voanews.com.